In my home city in summer days, temperature in the shadow past 50 degrees
50.
Celsius. 50, 50.
Jesus, that's hot.
You can put a pan in the street and make an egg in it. The recipe is simple. Get out of your place and do what you love. And you probably meet some people who they also love what you love. And then just don't hold back. Start to talk with them. Start to talk with them and you will find a friend.
Hi, I'm Lucia, and you're listening to Stories of Ordinary Lives. We often think that only the famous have interesting stories, but I believe that everyone does. In each episode, I sit down with someone you've never heard of, but whose voice matters. From cities to villages, across continents, we uncover the rich tapestry of human experience, showing that we are more alike than we think. Welcome to Stories of Ordinary Lives, where every life tells a tale worth hearing. Hi everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in. Before we dive into today's episode, if you'd like to share some kindness today, just hit that subscribe button. It's a small gesture that helps more people discover the incredible stories my guests have to share. Thank you, and now on to our next episode.
Welcome to Stories of Ordinary Lives. Hello, and today I have with me Mo. Hello.
Hello, Lucia. Thanks for having me. All my life, I practices for this moment that I tell some podcast hosts thanks for having me. And now a dream came true.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad. Nice one. So, Mo, you're a digital nomad, and we met on the beautiful island of Gran Canaria. And since I've been watching your stories on Instagram, of you discovering all the beautiful places, and I've been extremely jealous every single time.
The funny thing is, likewise, I have the same feeling towards all the places that you go, and all the South America and all the Caribbean islands that you visited.
See, being jealous on each other. That's funny. Yeah, so to start us off, could you share a little bit about where you are right now and what you're currently working on?
At the moment, I'm in Tallinn, Estonia, which is my home base. Basically, it's been my home in last 4 years, a bit more than 4 years. And so it's the place that I'm here for 6, 7, 8 months a year. And then I'm traveling generally somewhere warmer in South Europe. Yeah, at least it's been the story for the last 4 years. It kind of started randomly. It was during Corona when I came here, when I basically started my life in Estonia. And then the first time which basically led to that trip that I ended up in Las Palmas and we met there, I just wanted to run away from Estonian winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I already lived for 12 months in a co-living place. So I was kind of organically and randomly got to this kind of lifestyle, and then just consciously followed up in that lifestyle of being nomading and living in unconventional places, which is co-living places generally, or I don't know, hotels, Airbnbs.
Yeah. You live in like co-living space right now, right? And it's quite interesting. Can you describe it a bit more?
The name of the place is Hector Container Hotel. I should say I don't have any affiliation with them. So if you came here and got a bad service, it's not my problem.
Fair enough.
But I enjoyed it very much to live here. The name of the place is kind of self-explanatory. Place has a actually remarkable building. It's been an very old train depot, kind of Soviet or even pre-Soviet style stone building in heart of Tallinn. And then it's been at some point it was a market, and then they built a new market, and it was abandoned for a while, and then they renovated it and put 84 real ship containers here, which are the inside of the room are looks like a very nice, smart home room, whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of small and kind of very cozy. There are so many really nice shared areas like kitchen for a co-working space, seminar room, lobby, living room, terrace. So the idea is you have a kind of very comfortable, very cozy, private part of your life in your container, and then lots of shared areas and which bring people together. And like people always gather in the kitchen or different areas of the house together, and that's the main value that it brings.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to beginning. I always like to go to beginning. So you are now in Tallinn, but where are you from?
So I'm from south of Iran, from a city named Ahvaz. It's a very industrial city. Also, it's the main place in Iran, this my home province, where oil is. My home city is 1 hour drive to Persian Gulf, and from another side, 1 hour drive to Iraq's border. So it's southwest. And something special that I should mention when I'm talking about my home city is it's one of the hottest place that people live around the world. So my home city in summer days, temperature in the shadow past 50 degrees Celsius.
50.
50, 50.
Jesus, that's hot.
You can put a pan in the street and make egg in it.
Wow.
I'm not
Wow.
even joking.
Yeah, because egg is like made in like 60 degrees or something. Yeah, you maybe, well, 50 obviously. Wow. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Also because that's the shadow temperature when it's under the sun on street asphalt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can imagine it's like a 70 degree.
Jesus. How is it life in such a like hot weather? How was it?
I think you went once to Qatar, I think, so you kind of a bit experienced it.
It was 36 degrees, not like 50. 50 is mental.
Ah, yeah. So basically, you just like you inside, like in my parents' house, they have three AC, and then the cars has AC. I don't know, markets has AC, and of course, still you come out. It's like a sauna outside. So, for instance, I back in university time, I was a tennis coach. Our practice time was in the summer was from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so nobody started to play earlier than 8, 9.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you were in Tehran for
Yeah.
university?
I was in my home city for university, but then
Okay.
after university, I basically for the work I came to Tehran. As all the tech. I work in startups, and like I always been working on my startup or in the startup. So yeah, so basically, I started my first startup, right after university in my home city. It was the time before Google Map has all these, features that has now. And as I was a foodie, as I am a foodie, so I thought it's super cool that if we have a cafe and restaurant directory in my home city. So with one of my friends from university, we basically co-founded that startup, which was a cafe and restaurant directory in my home city. But then, yeah, after a year, I moved to Tehran to join another bigger company to run another national level startup for them. And then from there, I always work in different startups. Yeah. So it was
What do you
kind
like
of,
about the startup world?
on the very first place, it was about, I didn't want to get engaged in the like that traditional system. So for instance, if I wanted to work in my home city, the best places to work was big national slash government companies, oil companies, steel company. These are kind of quote unquote private, some of them, but still national under
Yeah.
government. So I didn't like to do that because there are a lot of corruption there. So I was like, okay, I do my thing. There is this new kind of thing that is growing, like you run your project and you make some money out of it. Of course, you always underestimate how much works it needs, but still, like I started that, and it was how I got into this, and then it started getting big. And basically, I joined the first Iran's basically digital marketing agency as a project manager. So then, things like a chain and come after each other. You get engaged in another project, talk with another person, get engaged with their company, with their project, get another consultancy project. So it's like how it works. Then the mindset of the people who work in this industry is different. And I think from the time of university, I didn't want to stay in Iran. So it was a good fit in the sense that I always had this mindset that I work in a way that, if I was working in the international market, it doesn't matter, I'm in Iran and now I work in an Iranian company, but always looking at the best practices, that happening all over the world, what is the best practices of industry, all these things.
Yeah. Why didn't you want to stay in Iran?
So the main thing is government,
Mm.
Yeah, now I'm thinking how far can I go? but but yeah, I think we all hearing in the news and media, main issue that all of us has is our government. And on one hand is government, but also on other hand is, as long as you're staying in Iran, you don't have the basic human rights. The simple thing, having a bank account, it's not possible. We have our national banks, but in terms of, for instance, I'm a freelancer now on Upwork. So if I don't have a residence permit from another country, I can't have a bank account. As a result, I can't work.
Wow,
So yeah. So it's
that's
how it
crazy.
works. So it's like basically, in a way, it's like a prison, especially in an economic sense. So you don't want to stay in a prison,
Hmm. Is your family still there?
Yeah. My family are still there. It's an ecosystem inside of it itself. I mean, I was working there, living there also for 32 years. So you can, it's not like you can't survive, but yeah, it's a very different lifestyle.
How different is it then?
Very different. The thing is, it's very really is, for instance, when people talking about Japan, they can't describe it. They say just it's very different. You should go and experience it. When it comes about Iran, it's also like not in a good way. I think there are so many things in a good way when it comes to people,
Uh-huh.
but when it comes to governance, things are in a very surreal way is terrible. In a way that for average Western person, it's not possible to imagine, you know?
Hmm.
So it's why I really I don't know how should I describe it, because sometimes even for myself, when it's a situation that we talk about something with people here, I just recognize how different it is, that specific subject there.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
is it like your daily life is very different in Estonia or around the world than it would be in Iran? Like you wake up in the morning and go to work. Are there some specifics which are different?
So imagine you have a terrible government which terribly micromanage. So you can't even, like, as a man, you have a limited options for how to wear. So, for instance, if you wear a short in the street, police can come and arrest you. And it's just a simple example. They can arrest you for, so basically selling, buying, drinking alcohol is illegal. Pre-marriage sex is illegal. Effectively, we don't have bar, club, what else in this category? We have cafes,
Hmm.
but yeah, so basically that's places that by default, they serve alcohol, right?
How do you
So,
socialize then? Like in
uh,
cafes? Do you
yeah,
do
so
sports?
yeah, actually, a sport is one container for that. I think cafes are one bar vibe place compared to here, and then home parties. So
Okay.
that's how it works. Basically, the networking and socializing work between your friends, your friend of friends, their friends. So the thing is, so actually there is everything in Iran. Everything is underground.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so you can find everything that you can find here, literally everything. Just everything is underground.
And I guess it's quite dangerous to do it.
Yeah, but you do it because we're human.
I
You
know.
like, yeah. So for instance, actually, you ask a good question. You asked like my lifestyle was very different in Iran. Not really much.
Okay.
So why you should be like a quote unquote criminal when you're not doing something wrong?
Hmm. Yeah, no, I agree.
It put a lot of pressure on you, and overall you can imagine when government is like that, they are terrible on other management and stuff. So the economic situation is uh you
Not
know
great.
yeah, I'm looking for like alternative word without using F word.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that's super interesting actually, because I feel like a lot of people, including myself, we don't really have idea how it looks like there, right? We get
yeah,
some sort of skewed information from media,
yeah,
and it's just not how it is, right? So
yeah.
are there any stereotypes and misconceptions you feel like people have about you because you are from Iran?
uh where do you want me to start?
Wherever you feel like starting.
Yeah. The issue is a really sensitive topic, and I don't think there is a capacity to perceive it in a. I try to make it politically correct, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. So, in ideal world, how would you want people to perceive you when y- they meet you?
people should perceive each other without I think without any bias, which is kind of course, I have my biases, I understand that,
We all
like
have, yeah.
we all have it, and you also nomading a lot, you're traveling a lot, exactly what I'm talking about. When you start to travel more and meet more people, you understand how much wrong biases we have.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think at the end of the day, ideal world is like just, we communicate and treat each other without any sort of bias. It's why I'm such a big ambassador of all traveling, co-living, all these sort of things that bring people together. Because then you understand we all people are same and very similar. All the bias just crumble itself. You don't need to even educate people much.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at the end of the day, what I believe is if I am a racist person, I do bad to myself because I limit myself to sort of fake limitation in my head. Let's say very, basic kind of things. So the thing is, every nation, every sort of, people from every continent, we all have our good traits and bad traits, right? The cool thing is when cultures reach each other, we start to get good things from each other. For instance, I live in a co-living, so even in terms of cooking, I have Italian friends. We made a like a infusion Persian Italian pizza. So
Nice.
just a random example that life gets way more beautiful with diversity.
Hmm.
And then if I'm sexist or racist, I just limit myself. I make life less fun for myself, right? I think once people understand this, then things get way easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about your family. So you are four of you. What was your role in that family? Were you the funny one, or what was your role?
Yeah, so I'm third child. The middle child are generally, and I'm really like a kind of middle child because I have two older siblings which very close to each other. So I have one brother which is 11 years older than me, and then one sister which is 9 years older than me.
That's same as me, but I have sister older and then brother and then me. And they are 11, 9 than me.
Yeah, very cool. So then I have one sister 8 years younger than me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think you don't have that one.
No, I don't. I don't have the
Yeah.
fourth one.
So I think this kind of middle child become maybe more social and more diplomat. Yeah, I think also I was funny, happy kind of person in home. And then for my younger sister also, I was very much like influential person on her life.
Okay,
Yeah,
how did you influence her?
in some senses to just living my life in a real sense, in a way that I want to do it. Just following the whatever I want to do in life. In other sense, also trying to be that sibling, perfect sibling in my head, being that person for her.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds very much like a cliche, but it's
But
yeah, what I really try to do.
so she's back home. Is she happy then these days? What is she doing?
She's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing good. She's a so I'm a digital marketer. She's also a digital marketer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then also I'm really proud of her. She is doing as a like a kind of side gig. She's a breath work, somatic breath work, and
Ah, cool.
this kind of modality is facilitator.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, she run her retreats back in Iran. And yeah, I'm waiting for her to move to Europe, so we run some stuff together.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm coming. If she's moving to Europe and does like retreat stuff, I'm coming.
Awesome. So we got our
Your
first
first,
client.
yeah, exactly. Your first client.
Yeah. I also plan to do the sauna ceremonies myself.
Ah, nice. Yeah, sauna and ice baths.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. So, what was one of the challenges when you moved to Europe? What was the hardest for you to kind of transition from Iran life to European life? What did you have to learn?
There is one funny thing that I can say. So
Yes, you can.
yeah, yeah. So the funny thing is, to be honest, I learned more about politics of Iran and Middle East after moving to Europe,
Okay.
more than the time that I was in Iran. So because I always like kind of hate politics, and
Mhm.
when I was in Iran, I never engaged in discussions. I was like, I don't waste my time with this shit.
Yeah.
And then once you come to Europe, you just need to tell people it's not how they think. There are like a 50 shades of shit there. There are so much manipulation by every powerful government in Middle East that they for like turn it to that shape. As a result, you need to always get engaged in this kind of conversations. So as a result, I needed to learn a lot. So I think
Ah,
one of the thing was after coming to Europe, probably I learned more about the history, like political history of Middle East, more than the 32 years that I was there.
wow, that's super interesting. So, are you glad you actually learned that, or do you feel like
No, I'm not.
you're not? You're annoyed by it.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, I don't like it at the end of the day. You have to, because in a way, you just want to counterattack the people who attack you, in a way.
Ah,
It's
okay.
it's not really like attack and counterattack, but you just want to effectively tell the people it's not how you think.
Uh-huh.
And also as an Iranian, always imagine like now our conversation that we're just talking effectively about the country.
I know. I'm sorry.
And
I'm
no,
realizing
no,
now I'm the part of the problem.
no, I didn't want to give you guilt, but and I get it. I completely get it because there is so much limitation on the real data outside. Every stakeholder, every media share every single piece of information with a reason and with the agenda and with a sponsor. So I mean I completely get it. But at the end of the day, even if you look at my choice of second country, like a second home, I came to Estonia, a place that probably you neither know the name of the president, you neither know the name of foreign minister, prime minister, like somewhere not in a center of attention. So I think it's a good thing because then you can define, you just can be like yourself without a bigger shadow on you, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that is extremely insightful. Thank you. No, thank you for sharing, and
Yeah,
thank you for like
yeah, sure.
being as everyone else. But I just find it like really important to break the bias, basically.
Mm-mm.
Because obviously we met, I was like, oh, this is an amazing person. And
Thank
I
you.
know when people hear Iran, they would be like, so I just wanted to give you the voice to just say, hey, I'm just
Yeah,
like you, which
yeah,
you do. So thank you for
yeah.
sharing.
Yeah, sure, sure. No, no, I mean you're so right. It is how it works. It literally happened in a dance floor on a club. I was talking with a girl, and the girl asked, "So where are you from?" I said Iran. It's one of those jokes, And she was like, "Oh, so you have a bomb on you?"
Jesus.
I know the person now. The person is a data scientist in a tech company.
Yeah.
So it's not even uneducated and not like a mature person.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
That must be tough. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, I just take all life as it is. It is what it is. Just the game what you applied for.
Mm,
So yeah.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Okay, let's move towards something more fun. So you've traveled loads of countries. Was there anything surprising on your travels happening, like be it culture-wise, nature-wise? What was some surprise?
Um, Good questions. I think everywhere you go has a lot of surprises. When it comes to cultures, it's really fascinating how different and similar we are. So, for instance, it's very funny. I went to Catania, I think it was last year. I was in Catania in Sicily
Mm.
for months. And it's so funny. Catania was so similar to my home city in so many ways.
Oh wow.
Yeah, even the fact that nobody, no driver care about the crosswalks. And really, in a both good and bad way, it's very similar to my home city. You know?
Okay, that's interesting.
All of people being warm, extroverted, nice, and kind, and at the same time place being chaotic, the streets full of litter on the ground, as I say, like both in good and bad way, is reminded me home.
Yeah, I could say you're Italian actually now thinking about it. You're very like, you could be easily Italian.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Actually, so
South Italian.
yeah, the funny thing, one of my best friends in Tallinn is Italian. Like overall, when I'm in Italy, I feel home, although
That's so
without
interesting.
without knowing the language. And the funny thing is, my Italian friends, all of his friends in Tallinn are Iranian. He has more Iranian friend than me.
Really?
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah.
So why did you choose Estonia then?
When I started my life in Tehran, I understood, okay, big cities are not for me.
Hmm.
I don't like to I mean, I like to visit big cities, but not staying there for a long time. So I always had this vision that I want to be in a fairly not big, not very small European cozy city that I can cycle or run to my workplace. I don't know if you have been in Tallinn. Tallinn is
No.
like you should come over. So actually, it's a super cozy place, very nice. So it actually has the biggest preserved medieval age old town in Europe. It's a
Oh,
pretty,
really?
yeah, it's a huge old town and it's preserved and it's super cozy. It's like a literal like fairy tale vibe.
Hmm.
And yeah, the city is also has a really good nature. It's next to the sea, which I really like to be in a city that has a sort of nature element in it.
Yeah.
And my home city has a biggest river in Iran passing through it. We have, I think, more than 20 river passing through like my home province, Khuzestan. And before revolution, we had some collaborative project with California, like a huge farming project in my
Oh,
home
cool.
province. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is any of that happening nowadays? Or
And of course not.
of course
Yeah.
not. But I mean, even without California, but like maybe they could
Oh,
still
yeah.
try to do some sort of farming projects.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have a lot of farming actually in my home province. We have very good citruses. We have tons of, so I think even now, like, actually even in Estonia, the dates that I buy is from Iran.
Ah,
Yeah, so
okay.
in my home province, I mean, I can be biased, but we have the best ever dates. Yeah,
You all
it's
say
just
that. All people from Middle East are
yeah,
like, oh no, we have the best dates. It's like, yeah, sure.
yeah. You don't believe it till you, you know.
It's the
So
same thing. I feel it's the same thing. It's like
yeah,
between like Spanish and Italian and Greece people, they're like, oh yeah, we have the best olive
olive,
oil.
of course. Yeah, so actually, we have the best olive oil. We just can't export it.
That's a shame. I'm sure yours the best.
Yeah, actually, we have one city in north of Iran that's like it's our olive city. So when we go from other part of Iran there, we bring this all kind of olive products.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, where were we?
You were talking about Tallinn and why you choose Estonia. So yeah, I guess it
Yeah,
made sense. Like Estonia is well known for being quite digital
yeah,
state, right? So
yeah.
I think it's easy to go, relatively easy. I don't think it's nothing easy about moving to a different country. It's quite challenging, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
Especially if you have an Iranian passport.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. Do you have problems with that when you travel? Because obviously you do a lot of traveling.
So that's why I travel inside Europe because now I have a residence permit from here, so I can
Okay.
I can travel easily almost inside Europe,
Okay.
as long as I have my card. Yeah, but just completing my answer about like Hawaii, Estonia. Yeah, here running a business is very easy because I didn't came by employment or like this kind of thing. So I came and started my business. So ease of running a business. It's very tax friendly. Admin stuff for the company. It's like a super smooth here. Everything is online. Literally everything is online. Everything in the government system are integrated. It's like, yeah, it's really like next level thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish that would be the thing everywhere. So with the digital nomad's life, so you have a base, which I guess is quite good, or at least I like to have base because then I have some sort of feeling of security. Um,
Yeah,
but I do feel like the digital nomad life kind of can be a bit romanticized.
absolutely.
What struggles do you have with that?
Uh, I think I more or less I kind of like optimized it a bit.
Okay.
So like what you said, they too romanticize it and influencer on Instagram that they selling how to be a digital nomad course with having a laptop in a bikini next to pool. They just give me a deep nausea. Yes, because it's not really how it works. I mean, you're a digital nomad. I'm a digital nomad. We both know it's not how it works. If especially if you have a full-time job. So I was a bit like maybe last 12 months. So basically from last June I haven't had like a full-time job. So when I traveled, I had a bit of more time. Yeah, more free time to explore. But overall, if you have a full-time job, at the end of it, you should work full-time. And then, yeah, you can have your dinner instead of, for instance, here being in Estonia. yeah, you can go out, sit outside, and have a nice food and enjoy the weather. And then on the weekend also you go explore in a new place, which is still, don't get me wrong, it's still a
It's so
privilege.
cool. Yeah,
I mean, I can't be enough grateful for it because it wasn't literally this much possible before Corona,
true. Yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
and it was always how I wanted to live, to be honest. But yeah, it's like, yeah, they kind of over romanticizing it. They show it in a way that you still even have to work, and so
Yeah.
and then when you think about it, after working, you don't have that much energy. Okay, it's still nice to go and be in a new place, explore a new place. But yeah, about the challenge, I think overall the human connections are a bit of a challenge. Sometimes we get lucky. For instance, when that time we went to Las Palmas, I
It
was in
was
a
so
shared.
much fun.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was in a shared apartment, so basically from the very first day, there were some cool people. We were hanging out, and then it was San Remo. We were hanging out in San Remo.
Yes, San Remo.
So sometimes you find your people really easy. You meet new people, but then sometimes it's just that destination that you go, it doesn't work like that. At this point, I have a sort of deployment system. Wherever I go, I become active in different channels to start to meet new people, and then you go somewhere and that your classic deployment system doesn't work. And then you got your problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Uh,
what's your deployment system then? Tell me, maybe I can use it.
Part of it comes to nightlife. You go find the nightlife places. Let's say how much the nightlife of the place that you go is match with your preferred kind of nightlife,
Mhm.
and then going, for instance, finding a good rave.
That
Yeah.
can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. So, for instance, in Facebook groups and these kind of places, you look for other digital nomads, different gatherings. What else? You go for the things that you like. For instance, if you're in spirituality, so if I go to new places, if there is a meditation gathering, yoga gathering, ecstatic dance gathering, name it,
Yeah.
this kind of thing. So I kind of try to join, see some people that we vibe. If it's a co-living, so if it's a good co-living, it's also a very good thing because already once you step there, there are a couple of people similar to you. Going to co-working spaces again in these kind of places is good, and also dating apps.
That is
Yeah.
so true though. Yeah.
Yes, that's a one way to meet locals.
Meet locals. Yeah, that is so true. Or other travelers or whatever. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this, what you just said, is a great recipe, not just for digital nomads, but for anyone who might feel a bit lonely, because this is basically
Yeah.
how you find friends, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and I do feel like a lot of people struggle with that, especially as we get older. I do sometimes struggle with it. So I'm just like, I have to get out. Like, I have to go, yeah, do my
Yeah,
meditation or whatever somewhere, like where I
yeah,
get talk to people, right? Because
yeah,
otherwise I can just be home forever and just like, yeah, I'll do my work. And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, and the recipe is simple. Get the fuck out of your place and do what you love. And you probably meet some people who they also love what you love, and then just don't hold back. Start to talk with them. Start to talk with them, and you will find a friends. I mean, I'm 36 and I make friends every day.
I think the really important piece of that is don't hold back.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's, I think, what people do because they fear
yeah,
rejection. If you start talking to someone that someone don't want to talk, I think that's what kind of, but in my experience, it's actually people like to talk to other people. And if
yeah,
you approach them, they're actually like, oh yeah, hey, let's
yeah,
talk. So
yeah, 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 exactly. Because everybody wants to do that, but there are not so many people who initiate it.
yeah,
and
exactly.
and then at the end of the day, I mean, what will happen is it's come and talk with me. I mean, all of us has our bad days, and I don't want to talk with you. I just put my headphone, go to my laptop or my phone, and nothing will happen. Nobody arrests you, nobody kill you. That's it.
Yeah, that is also true. Like the worst
Yeah,
thing which can happen is the person doesn't want to talk. And
yeah,
that's it. And you say, okay, fair enough, bye. And you go and
yeah.
talk to another person. Like, yeah, yeah.
I mean, which I get it. Like, it's easy to say, like harder to do. But then, as a person, every day I trying this myself. It's actually kind of also like a Middle Eastern, Iranian culture. You always care about what people think. So actually, I come from a culture we hold back even more. And I consciously practiced it for so many years from the time that, I don't know, I was 18, I don't know, whatever. I just can say it's very rewarding. As much as you go forward in this path, it's just very rewarding and life just gets way more fun.
Yeah, I agree. So do you think your culture holds back more like than I don't know, like Estonian culture or Czech culture? Because I feel like my culture holds back a lot as well. Like, isn't it just
We
human?
we hold back in different culture because I mean I also live in Eastern Europe, so I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just different ways. Let's say in our culture, we generally don't self-prioritize. It's a classic Middle Eastern attitude pattern. Let's say it's not a virtue to prioritize yourself.
Okay, so
You
it's more
know,
like collectivism. Is that the word? Like more pro-social, is it? Or
um, yeah, kinda. It's like a kind of pro community, let's say.
yeah.
And then as a result, it's very important, oh, what people think about us. In Eastern European culture, it's the holding back is not coming from this root. It's not what people think about us. It's just kind of introvert culture. And then I think at some point it's just a bit pumped by Soviet,
Exactly.
government, and so like the security government. So people are still that don't look at each other's eyes, all these things.
Yeah.
But for us, actually, I'm from south of Iran, so we are very famous for being warm and very extrovert. So it's a bit different, but let's say you don't go much against the general things that accepted public. And by the way, these things are, of course, we're living in a constantly changing world.
Yeah.
So even like things are different from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You're right. It's like it's just different in a
Mm.
way.
Yeah, it's different in a way. In Czech Republic, people hold exactly for the same reason you said about Estonia, or I think, and I'm away for 10 years, so who knows
Yeah,
what's happening now. But I always felt there was this fear of others rather than like being judged by others, but like fearing others. And it's
yeah,
the post-communism mentality of like, yeah, security police, all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
And exactly that sort of dissident flat parties. It wasn't
yeah,
really parties, but like the people coming together and talk stuff which you can't talk on in a public, that sort of things.
yeah,
So yeah, so I felt like, are you trusted? Can I trust you? Kind of situation.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I have a question which I ask everyone who comes on the podcast. Uh, is there like a particular act of kindness that someone extended to you, perhaps during your travels or early in life? It doesn't matter at any point in your life, which kind of stayed with you, and maybe like it changed how you see the world or maybe how you interact with others based on that. And it can be small, big, it doesn't matter. It can be a very small thing or it can be bigger.
Yeah, at the moment I can't recall in I can't come up with this dramatic story that changed my
That's
that
fine.
that
It
yeah
doesn't have to
that
be dramatic. There's
yeah,
like,
that changed my life and made me the person who I am now. But on the other hand, I should say I appreciate and I'm grateful for every single small act of kindness that I get during regular daily life, and I think I'm kind of lucky that I get it a lot, and that's I think that's what keep us going as a humans, and it's what also I think we should do more, and it's just make it again make the life more fun, and probably once you give it away more, you take it back. And I'm not talking about the woohoo karma. I'm talking about really like it's just how it works. You smile more to people. People just smile to you the days that you don't feel like smiling. It's just my experience. Actually, living here in co-living is so cool because we here always support each other in like a small. If I cook something, I share it with people. People do the same. It was the other day I was crashed after the party. When you party till 6 a.m., the next day you're kind of tired. And then I had a great day though, but then I was kind of tired. I was heading to kitchen, and then one of my friends got dessert for me. Oh, look, I got this for you. Check it out. It's like some sort of anyway, something without sugar and stuff. It's kind of natural, and then I was like, oh my god, such a great day. And my other friend told me, oh, I'm making avocado egg. Do you want to have some avocado toast with egg? And do you want also? I was like, yeah, why not? you know, it's like these small things. They made my day, and other days I make their day. Like, and it's how it works. When you think about it, you just need one of these things in every day to have a great life at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, no, that's great. I love that. So it's basically a series of small events which are very low effort. Like they're not low effort, they're big effort, but like big, like
Yeah.
kind of
No,
friendly. Or
yeah.
but it doesn't
It
cost you anything.
yeah. Sometimes it just can be a smile, like sometimes
Yeah,
just give a fucking compliment about somebody's clothes,
yeah, I know. I love that. I love doing that actually. Very often in like ladies' bathrooms, right? There often I meet a girl who's like checking herself in the mirror and seems a bit insecure.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love giving her a compliment because
yeah,
I know it's gonna, make a difference that day.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And then the thing is, it's still like girls are good at this, men are terrible, and I try. Yeah, I try to break this thing. Especially if the person is a stranger, you should, if you give a compliment after that, you should tell, hey, bro, I'm also straight.
That's horrible. Like it should be just normal, right?
So it's just so funny. Yeah. Now it became really super trendy. Oh, men's cycle, brotherhood cycle, and all these things. To be honest, like once, if especially like I think I also live in co-living, maybe things are different. But to be honest, once you start to just again, like even like with your friends, like as a man with your man friend, once you start to be just like let's say not holding back, having a communication with less ego, also this kind of like a men circle, like a brotherhood circle, just happen to form naturally.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting also observation for me that that's a whole another rabbit hole. So
So,
I I also talking about act of kindness. Told you like there is a cool thing to related to ancient Persia that I would
okay.
that I would like to share.
Sure.
Actually, it's
Yeah.
a really interesting story that shows how much kindness can be effective and important actually, and not in just a word. Basically, we have this ideology because I really it's not a religion. It was more of an ideology in ancient Persia that this group of people, we call them Mehriyan. So basically, people who were assigned to Mehr. And then imagine these missionaries, people of this group, let's say like their Brits, the people who are kind of promoting this mindset, ideology, whatever it is, they called them mehban, which in Persian, effectively, ban, when you add it to one word, means a person who taking care of that thing.
Mhm.
So if somebody was really mehban, like these people who were like a missionary of the meh ideology, basically they were just extremely kind people, to the point that after, I don't know, maybe more than 4,000 years, the way that in Iran we call each other kind, literally the word for it is mehban.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
when you think about it, it's just mind blowing. It's just when you think about it, if you have a something that you want to promote it, promote your ideology, just what is a better way that you can keep it for thousands of years without really promoting it?
Yeah, you put it into language and using it as a word. Yeah.
The Mehban people were really kind, probably. In Persian, also mehr means kindness as a result, So mehban means kind and mehr means kindness.
Yeah.
It it show how strong at the end of the day kindness is.
It is strong. It is strong. Definitely. I do believe that you have to have, or you have to experience kindness, the small kindness you were talking about. I love that concept of kindness, because I don't think I could go in my life without normal people, stranger people being some sort of kind, right?
Yeah.
And it's nicer when they are more kind than when they are little kind. But
Yeah.
it is extremely important. I don't think we could exist without it,
Yeah.
without the daily day kindness. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like a two-sided thing, like if you're living good life, in a sense that you're happy with the life that you have, and you're just doing what you like to some extent, you just naturally become more kind.
Hmm. Yeah, I
I,
agree. The more happier you are, the
yeah, it's just your nature.
yeah, yeah. I wish kindness is nature. Hopefully it is.
I mean, it is nature when we are in ourself and not self. So
Hmm.
once we're living in our not self, then kindness is not natural.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the masks. So how did you become vulnerable?
When
How and when? What happened? Because obviously there are so many people still struggling with that. What's the recipe for opening yourself to the world?
I think it's just observe and be conscious about it, and just do small steps. Look, I'm kind of skeptical person overall, like in deep of my head, I'm also like, I'm engineer, I'm a marketer, I work with money. So, and I work in tech, I'm data driven. What I'm saying is, I'm not just talking like a monk or something. I'm just not saying accept it without understanding. I'm just saying observe and be conscious about it. Just be a bit vulnerable, be a bit open-hearted, and see the feedbacks. And then if it works, good for you. Then go and be a bit more vulnerable and a bit more open-hearted. I think it works, and just see the result. At the moment, I wish I could be more. Just I think maybe I don't have, let's say, enough courage to be more of that. It's just because at this point, it's just so obvious for me that it's gonna be extremely rewarding. But at the same time, like the scene in a Matrix movie when the phone tell Neo to jump, and he came all the way, and he know that phone is right. I think it's an incredible analogy and metaphor for us, that phone is our intuition. We all have it. But then there is always some big leaps in our life that it's hard to do. But eventually, my point is, just test it out. and see yourself that it works and makes you happy. And yeah, that's it. And also, you consider it like other things, like irrational things that you did in your life and didn't work out. Just is exactly like a data-driven decision making in the startups. You can't test with just one test. Test 10 times, and of course it failed a couple of times, but it works more, in my opinion.
I love that. I love that. Basically, design experiment.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with your life, you feel lonely, you don't have enough friends, whatever, design experiment where you a certain amount of vulnerability putting out there, you're trying things just a little bit, which is like in your comfort zone. See what's the result, adjust, and proceed further. I love that. That's amazing, and that's what everyone can do that, right? Like it's
I'm not saying go be vulnerable with a random person, but just start from your best friend and be vulnerable with that best friend, and it can't go wrong. And if the person even, I don't know, reacted negatively to your vulnerability, probably that's not a good best friend.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good advice. I think it's a good closing, because we close with a tool, as the good podcasts do.
Yeah.
No, look, thank you very much. This was great. Thank you for the time. Thank you for your wisdom.
It was just, like sharing my life, sharing experiences, and it's for me also, it's like a self-reflection. And thank you for having me. Thank you for the conversation. It was a blast.
I know, it was a blast.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Have a lovely evening.
You too. Have a good one. Ciao. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you for listening to Stories of Ordinary Lives. The story you've heard today is more than just a tale. It's a seed of empathy and understanding. When we truly listen to each other's experiences, we don't just hear a story, we become part of it. And this is how we scale kindness, one story, one conversation at a time. By recognizing the value in every life, we create ripples of connection that can transform our communities and beyond. So, carry this story with you. Let it inspire you to listen more deeply to others. Until next time, remember that every life tells a tale worth hearing, and every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the power to create extraordinary change, one step at a time.